and I had an economic degree, but finance was not something that I learned while I was in college. And so I went back to graduate school at Georgia State on the GI Bill, and I got a pretty sharp sword, and I've been teaching for about 10 years, so that helps sharpen your sword as well.
Yeah. Okay. Another question I have. I told a lot of my classmates about the Gathering of Angels,
Uh-huh.
and we're all striving to one day present to the Gathering of Angels. How did it begin, and where did the concept come from for
Well,
starting Gathering?
it started in New Mexico, and young companies were leaving New Mexico. And I realized that when I got out there based on what I've been doing here in Atlanta in economic development. But the company would get started. They might come out of one of the national laboratories, Los Alamos, which is about 30 miles from Santa Fe, or Sandia in Albuquerque. The most famous of which is Microsoft, that actually started in New Mexico, in Albuquerque, because the Altair computer was there and they couldn't raise $55,000. You're hearing me tell this story tonight. And so Bill Gates did what every good entrepreneur does when they presented a bill for $55,000 from the law firm. They did the intellectual property around DOS, which was the forerunner for Windows. And he called home, and his father said, Willie, I'll loan you the money on the condition that you move Microsoft from Albuquerque back to Seattle.
Oh, neat.
And so because Microsoft couldn't raise that seed and early stage capital, New Mexico lost all the what they call Microsoft's millionaires.
Wow.
And all the spinoff and everything. So in 1996, in October, I started the Gathering of Angels. Actually, on Saturday morning, I was teaching 4 nights a week, so I didn't really have any nights. And so we had coffee and muffins and had predominantly New Mexico type companies that came and presented. And we didn't get any money because it was Saturday morning and coffee and muffins and things like that. And so I called up the guy in California that had a group called the Band of Angels and asked him what I was doing wrong. And he said, Tarby, what kind of wine are you serving?
Oh, wow.
So wine is the real secret to this process.
Wine is the secret.
It's a little bit like a charity auction. So you have to have 1 or 2 glasses of wine, and then you kind of, sometimes your senses get dulled a little bit, but you get excited, and next thing you know, you've written a $50,000 or $100,000
yes
check.
to everything.
Yes, so at least you've got that.
Okay, what part of your job do you find most satisfying and most challenging doing the Gathering of Angels or Sweet?
Well, I get to meet interesting people. I get to see people that I haven't seen in 50 years. They just walk through the door. And it's an exciting prospect of bringing angel investors in a room and let them hear and experience 4 to 5 young companies every month. And it's something I do here in Santa Fe and something I do in Atlanta. And it's very satisfying to me and stimulating, and I hope I can do it for another 10 or 15 years.
That's great. I've been checking out your website and reading all the articles.
Uh-huh.
And I was reading an article about something called the candy store effect. Do you remember that one?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, it was like investors, there's so many ideals out there now, and that banks are giving it a hard time of getting lending.
Right.
So right now, investors have the pick of the litter.
I think that's right. And a lot of the banks that maybe used to do home equity loans aren't doing those anymore.
Right.
And second mortgages and things like that. So, and the VCs, the venture capital people, have certainly slowed down their investing. So this is an ideal time for an angel investor,
Right.
Both from a point of view of supply. There's always been a lot of demand, and I think that very easily 2010 could be an excellent year for the angel investor. And I think the Gathering of Angels is an ideal place for young companies that are looking for money. There are other angel forums and angel clubs around the country. We're certainly not the only one. There are 2 or 3 here in the Atlanta area. And there's several networking groups. Ours is really an angel forum where young companies can come and be assured that they're going to get a good quality audience of people who can write checks. These are not service providers. They're not doing website design. They're not, sharing business cards. They come for a reason. They come to drink wine and nibble on what I call a Santa Fe supper, which is quesadillas and burritos, chips and peanuts. So it's just enough to satiate them from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And then the real work begins when a particular angel or several of them express an interest in a young company, and the magic happens. And usually 1 to 10 days after the event, the check is written or the angel passes. So that's really how it kind of happens and everything.
That's neat. Well, I'm so happy I was able to catch up with you this week here in Atlanta.
It's a pleasure.
I've been checking out your website and reading research on you.
Good.
Very impressive website.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And today, an angel investor often finds me, but certainly the entrepreneurs find me through doing a Google search for an angel investor. And so today I did my search early this morning, and we were on the top of page 1 for Google, the top of page 1 also for Yahoo, and page 1 for Bing. So the 3 major search engines. We were on the top and everything.
Oh, neat. Well, thank you so much.
Good, very good. Thank you. And I wish you a lot of success.
Thank you.
Wish your class success.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much.
And that was another WFRYE TV. I'm Carrie Allen Fry. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much for coming out this evening. Thank you. You're far too kind. Hold your applause. This is your song, not mine. Thank you. Please hold your applause.